How's it going, guys? It's Izzy from the 6 Round Podcast, and I'm going to be predicting UFC on FX 3. Today, I'm going to be riding solo. Unfortunately, my co-host is off in sea looking for the Little Mermaid or something. And my guest, some issues came up and we couldn't do it, so hopefully for the next one he'll be able to come on. But today we have Ian McCall predicting his own fight later on in the show, so stay tuned. I'm just going to run through the prelim card picks real quick. Of course, it's just my picks. So, Jake Heck versus Sean Pearson. I have Jake Heck winning by decision. Henry Martinez versus Bernardo Magalhaes. Henry Martinez by decision. Buddy Roberts versus Cal Magalhaes. Cal Magalhaes by TKO. In case you guys don't know, Cal trains with the Uno camp in Brazil with people like Jose Aldo. So, his takedown defense I expect to be really good, and of course, just his stand-up to be ridiculous. Tim Means versus Justin Salas. Tim Means by TKO. Dustin Paige versus Jared Papazian. Jared Papazian by TKO. Leonard Garcia versus Matt Grice. I have to go with Matt Grice on this one. Leonard Garcia, exciting, love his fights, but I don't like him as a fighter. Um, I just think that he punches air all the time, and I think that's what the judges sees. So they give him the fight when if it goes to decision. But I see Matt Grice being more technical and being able to finish Leonard Garcia. Mike Pierce versus Carlos Rocha. Mike Pierce winning by decision, and Seth Paczynski versus Lance Benoit, Lance by submission. Now let's break down the main card. Eddie Wineland versus Scott Jurgensen. Of course, Eddie Wineland, the first ever WEC bantamweight champion, I believe. Um, After that, he left the WEC. Scott Jurgensen, of course, very exciting fighter. His last fight didn't end the way he wanted it to. Never gets tired, apparently. I talked to him, and I interviewed him, and one of the things he mentioned was that he never gets tired. So I expect his cardio, of course, to be better than Eddie's. Um, Technically, maybe Eddie is a little bit better than him, but I believe Scott will be able to tire him out and pull off a decision in this fight. Mike Kyle versus Josh Neer. Mike Pyle, um, also a former WEC champion, actually defended his title. Josh Neer, always dangerous on the ground and on the feet. Um, but I see Mike Pyle winning this technical fight, taking it to the ground, maybe getting a submission or pulling off a decision. Eric Silva versus Charlie Brenneman. Eric Silva coming in, of course, as the favorite at negative 155. Charlie Brenneman, the underdog, at plus 165. Um, Charlie Brenneman is no slack, though. This is going to be a tough fight for Eric Silva. He's stepping up in competition. Even though his first fight was a disqualification, he just destroyed um, the whatever his name was, Brazilian. I forget his name. He just fought in this last card, actually. Um, but Charlie Brenneman is not a guy you should sleep on. Everybody's talking about Eric Silva and hyping this fight up. But Charlie Brenneman has the potential to do an upset. Even though I'm picking Eric Silva by TKO, I didn't bet this fight just because I didn't bet any of the undercard or any other fight besides the main event for the sole purpose of my confidence in Ian McCall. But of course, if I had to bet this fight, I would probably parlay Eric with someone else. Um, Again, I wouldn't put too much on it, just because Charlie is a veteran of the sport and has defeated top-notch guys before. Now, the main event, talk a little bit more about that. Demetrius Johnson versus Ian McCall. We all know the situation. We all know that Demetrius was declared the winner in the first fight, even though I had it scored rounds 1 and 3 for Ian, round 2 for Demetrius. But later on, of course, the fight was changed to a draw with the rematch happening now. I have this in this fight. I have Ian McCall winning by TKO. I picked Ian McCall in a bet at plus 134, and of course there was a prop that I also bet. Ian McCall finished in the third round at plus 2,400. So if that hits, I'm going to be very, very happy. But I did bet him very, very heavily, and I'm expecting a finish in the third round. And of course, I caught up with Ian. He's a very nice guy, always has time for his fans. And let's see what he had to say about his fight. Hey, Ian.
What's going on?
Hey, this is Izzy from the 6 Round Podcast.
and both me and my co-host we picked you. So we tried to get you on, and thankfully you said yes. So in your last fight against Demetrius Johnson, it was a very back and forth, close fight. You were very dominant with the takedowns. You know, everybody was expecting him to be kind of equal in the wrestling, but you were very surprising, and you took him down a few times. What'd you think of your last fight? Did you think you won it, or do you agree with the decision of a draw?
I mean, I think I won. The more that I watch, the more that I think that I won. I can see it being called a draw, you know, going into that third round. But, I mean, just for I can see it being called a draw just for the sake of them, wanting to go to a fourth round, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But I think I definitely won.
yeah, well, actually, you know, because that's what we do. We analyze fights, and I just saw the fight twice yesterday, and I saw it again this morning. And I watch it without the volume, and then with volume, and I just see you winning the last fight. I honestly think you won the last fight. But surprisingly, in the odds, the betting odds, you come in as the underdog yet again. What do you think about that?
I don't mind it. I mean, all my degenerate friends can make money gambling. I don't really care.
Exactly. Okay. So, okay, for this main event, me and my co-host have Ian McCall, who's going to win this fight. And we're both betting heavy money on him. So, who are you picking to win the main event, of course?
Oh, well, obviously I think I'm gonna win. I'll finish it within three.
Oh, you're calling a finish now.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it within three. I'm not sure exactly what way I will choose, but I'll finish it.
All
Get it
right.
done.
All right. And then, okay, let's talk about a little bit about your upcoming fight then. You let's say you win this fight this Saturday. What do you think the dangers with Joseph Benavidez are in the final for the championship?
It's a much different fight. I don't want to say it's any harder or any easier than Demetrius. It's just very different.
Yeah.
I think that Benavidez is a more dangerous person, or a more dangerous fighter. He's more of a finisher.
Yeah.
Demetrius is just going to tire you out, hot shot you and try and, work his takedowns and stuff. Whereas, Joe's going to try and knock your head off the show, which is cool. It would be a much different game plan going into it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, you're setting records, even if you don't know it. You're the first main event that's a flyweight fight in the UFC, and of course, with the whole, they already had the whole fourth round. That fight was completely different, and you were the second person that Dana had to talk to backstage about that. And then, of course, if you become the first flyweight champion, that in itself is a great achievement. So we're rooting for you here on the Six Round Podcast, and we're definitely laying some money on you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on,
All
and I'll let you have a good day.
right, cheers.
Thank you, man.
You can follow me on Twitter at IzzyBoy121 and my co-host at MADDDOGG Miller. Also, our Sixth Round Podcast Twitter is The Sixth Round PC. Thanks for listening, and until next time, guys.